Hi everyone, welcome back. For those of you who are new to our channel, we are the Garcia family. Our name is Garcia Family 4. I'm Stephanie and this is my husband David. And today, what we kind of want to talk to you about is a topic called homeschooling. We have received a lot of comments and questions from you asking what is homeschooling, why do you guys do homeschooling? So today, we're going to take the opportunity to kind of talk a little bit about that. So we will talk about what is homeschooling, why we personally chose to do homeschooling, and then share with you kind of like what it looks like on a day in our homeschooling.
So what is homeschooling? Homeschooling is an alternative to traditional education. It's not a thing here in China. That's why people get really curious when we talk about it. But in America, there's actually 3 million kids that do homeschooling. Basically what we do is we have an accredited curriculum that we do online, and we have our kids learn on that. And we supplement that with language and physical activities, which we're going to talk about later. I was homeschooled growing up, and so was Stephanie, and we really enjoyed our experiences, so that's why we decided to homeschool our kids as well.
So one of the most important things for me about why we've chosen to do homeschooling for our family is because of the time. David's schedule is very erratic and different, and so when he's at work, we do school. And then when he has his 2 days off, that's when we schedule our weekend. So we have the flexibility with homeschooling to get to determine our scheduling. And I have that control to be able to say, okay, today's schooling, and then the next 2 days are off because David's off, and then we'll do schooling after that. So homeschooling gives you the flexibility to do your own schedule and make it work for your family. And based on David's work schedule, that's given us a lot of opportunity to have time with our family. If the girls were in a traditional school setting, we would be having to pull them out and put them back in, or just miss that time out with them. Like if David's on a day off during the week and they're at school, he would miss getting to have the opportunity and that time with his kids. So that's just something that really contributed to our decision to want to homeschool, and one of the reasons why we've decided to be able to do this with our family. So now we want to talk a little bit about why we personally chose to do homeschooling for our family. So David shared a little bit about his story, that he had homeschooling all the way through graduation, through 12th grade. I personally was only homeschooled until 6th grade, and then I attended school from 7th grade until I graduated 12th grade. So I got a chance to experience kind of both of these. But David, do you want to expand a little bit about your homeschooling experience and how that contributed to our ultimate decision to homeschool our kids right now?
Yeah, for me, my parents decided to homeschool all 4 of us children. I think mostly because they didn't put a big value on traditional education. My dad came from Mexico and didn't even graduate high school. My mom dropped out of college, and they both became very successful in their career fields. Therefore, I don't think they put a big emphasis on traditional education, and they didn't really view it as a precursor to success. I have 3 other siblings, and they've all done very well in their own career fields. I think they viewed life as more of looking at a way of finding your passion and finding what you're good at and what you love to do, and then honing in on that. For me in particular, it was flying. When I was about 14 or 15 years old, I discovered that I loved aviation. I loved airplanes. And so they just put me deep into aviation, learning about aviation, reading about it. And actually for my high school year, what would be my high school year.
Your graduation year.
Graduation year, yeah. They said, go to flight school and get a pilot's license. So I was able to wake up in the morning and go to work. I think I was 16 or 17 years old, and then go do flight lessons and hone in on that. So that was very precious to me. I think there was less time wasted. I think there can be time wasted in school. I know a lot of kids went to school and learned how to play the recorder and stuff like that, but didn't learn valuable life skills in a lot of cases, at least in the West. Also, my parents put a big emphasis on family time. We loved to travel. Growing up, we had a motorhome, and by the time I was 18, we'd been to all 50 states. And so that was amazing, the family time, and also the values that they got to impart onto me. Yes. And so that's what I really wanted for my kids. I want them to find out what their passion is and pursue it. And I want to expose them to as much as I can. And so for that, I'm very grateful to my parents, and that's why we decided to homeschool our children.
So the last thing we'd like to kind of share with you is what a day-to-day looks like for us. So Evelyn and Aubrey will get up in the morning and they'll complete their chores, and then we'll eat breakfast, and then they'll come to the computer. We only have one computer, so Aubrey has a lot of worksheets and kind of table work that she does. She's in preschool, so her workload on the computer isn't as much as Evelyn's. So she'll be sitting here and I'll kind of assist her and get her started on her worksheets and things that she does for her preschool. So we work on phonics, we work on ABCs, and just initial handwriting and things like that. So as Aubrey is doing that, Evelyn will go to the computer and she'll log in to her class, and as her on the dashboard, it will present all of her assignments that she has in each course subject. So she will do math and language arts, and that includes reading, and then we'll move to science and mathematics. And so we kind of cover all of our core subjects, and with that we've added language, and then we also have daily PE time. So that's not part of the curriculum. So those are on top of the curriculum, our responsibility to add in. So we really value physical education and also a language at this point. We're trying to take advantage of that. So Fridays are our language class, where you've seen previously that we have a tutor that comes in to help the girls and I learn Chinese. So while we're here in China, we really wanted to take advantage of that and incorporate a language in our studies as well. So we all are learning that and on that journey of learning some Mandarin. So and then also we've also encouraged extracurriculars. So Aubrey has chosen to do gymnastics this year, so she gets her physical education once a week at her gymnastics class and loves that. And Evelyn, for PE and her physical education, she's taken on skateboarding, and so her and David get to do that a lot and try and do their skateboarding classes to promote physical education and movement. And we also really respect, and David is a musician too, so music is a huge part of our lives, and so we've asked the girls what musical instrument they would like to. And at this point, Aubrey is not quite there, but Evelyn's chosen to do the piano. So they've each kind of chosen one thing that's extra on top of their school to do, and that's kind of how we remain balanced, because we know that going to a conventional school can kind of provide those opportunities where homeschool doesn't. And so I think that you need to be more intentional as a homeschooling parent to make sure that you're facilitating these extracurriculars for your children on top of just your core subjects that we're learning. Yeah. Do you want to talk a little bit about some of the core subjects that you'd like to kind of add to the curriculum?
Yeah, so like I said before, we like to impart our values to our children, and one thing my parents imparted to me, which I still value, was the use of money, basic personal finance, fiscal responsibility. So with Evie, I created a little bit of a project. Last Thanksgiving, a friend of mine gave Evie a little bit of R&B, a little bit of money, and I did a little bit of an experiment on her where I could say, look, you could either go spend this money or you could invest it with me. And I created a little bank of dad. And I said, look, if you invest with me, give me the money, just delay the spending, I'll give you a return on investment from that. So she's learning the basics of investing and saving money and really delaying gratification. So it's kind of like a marshmallow test in a way. But that's been huge. I know student debt is a huge crisis in America, and that's something that was not taught in schools that we would like to impart into our children. Yeah. I want them to be financially responsible. And so that's been huge for Evie, and I don't think you're ever too young to start learning about that. So I'm very proud of her and what she's been learning, and that's been a lot of fun for me as well.
So in conclusion, this is not for everyone. We recognize we're just offering you our story and why we've chosen to do this, and also just explain a little bit about what is homeschooling, how do we do it. We know we're very privileged in the West. We have a lot of resources. We have a lot of curriculums available to us, and so it makes it a lot easier for us to do this. We also may not do this all the time. We may choose to put our kids in school at a different time, but for right now, this has been such a good fit for us, and we really, really like being involved in our kids' education, getting to tailor it and instill our values into our kids in this way. So I like getting to be a part of my kids' education, and I've been very thankful for this opportunity.
I don't think school is at least in the West, is a one-size-fits-all program. I know in the West, if you don't fit their box, maybe you have hyperactivity or something, you're labeled and you're told that you're not good enough. And to me, that's very sad. I think there are a lot of very capable people out there. Take, for instance, Richard Branson, who was dyslexic growing up, and he was failing out of school, and his teachers were telling him how he's not good enough. Obviously, he's very gifted in some areas, but they weren't able to identify that until he dropped out of school. So I think that for us, this works for us, and I think that everybody has something that they're passionate about. Everybody has some meaning, and this is, to me, a one way of finding it. And like I said before, I want them to find it as quickly as they can so they can hone in on it.
Yeah. So thanks so much for joining us today. Thank you so much for exploring homeschooling with us and listening to our personal experience. And we hope that you've enjoyed this vlog and hope you've kind of had a little bit more understanding of homeschooling and why we've chosen to do it. So thank you so much for watching, and we hope that you've enjoyed this, and we will see you next time.